My name is Sam and I have a 3-year-old little boy called Hugo. Hugo was 15 months when he first started coming here, and he didn't have any words, and by that I mean no words. So some people say, oh, my child can't speak, and they have a few words. Hugo had none and was really frustrated, and he was just angry all the time because he couldn't get across what he needed to get across, and that then affected his behaviour and his aggression, and it was a really troublesome time, and there wasn't much help. There was no resources. We kept on being told Hugo was too young, there wasn't a spreadsheet he could fit into, so we just had to wait until he was 2.
It started about a year ago when Mason was 2, and we have another little boy who's 7, and you try not to compare kids, but sometimes you can't help it, and we both agreed, didn't we, that there was quite a few things going on with him. So that was last October, and then that was when it all started with like the word autism.
What were the main struggles your child had to deal with at the beginning?
Communication mostly, wasn't it?
Yeah, communication. He had
not being able to express himself.
Yeah, he would express the struggles we had to deal with. The fact that he wouldn't express himself. Answers were limited. Like, his response was limited to just shouting at us, literally. So we had no communication.
He's non-verbal, so he doesn't. There's a few words, isn't there? Choice words, I would say, but not.
And you can hear.
He found that frustrating. So that communication was the main issue, wasn't it? Really.
As parents of a disabled child, you don't know what you're doing. You hardly know what you're doing with a normal child, let alone one that has needs. And they really sat down with us and talked us through how we could help him. They set up a thing called Picture Communication Exchange, which is basically a book that Hugo had where he can make sentences of what he wants. So there's a picture of him and an open hand, and then rice cakes or pom bears or bananas. So his frustrations then got much less because he could tell us what he wanted, he could communicate with us. And that was a system that we hadn't heard of before we came to John McNeill. So that really changed Hugo's life and made him much more relaxed and much happier. And eventually, over time, with the training from John McNeill that we had and with the speech therapy, he's now talking. So from using those pictures, and we constantly reiterated what it was. So Hugo, that's a picture of a banana. Hugo, that's a picture of a rice cake. He was then copying, and now he has full sentences. He can communicate with us. There was a time we never thought he would say mummy, and now he can say mummy, I love you, and does every day. It's amazing, and they've changed our lives and definitely changed Hugo's lives.
I think we were quite nervous as well, weren't we, when he first came here?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have spoken to anyone. I didn't know any other parents that had children with autism or special needs. So coming here was life-changing. It really was, because you got to know other parents, you got to speak to the staff, and there's nothing that you can't ask them. And we'll bring him in and he would be screaming, and they're just like, it's fine, off, and
everyone's a lot more understanding here. It's
a lot more understanding, and there's, like I said, there's nothing you can't ask of them, and they're more than happy to do it. And then introducing PECS, so Picture Exchange Communication, was like the best thing ever, like the best thing. Since he's been coming to John McNeill, we've learnt how to communicate with him, and it feels like you've got to know him all over again.
It takes away the frustration on both sides,
yeah,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So, but if he wasn't coming here, we wouldn't have known anything about that at all. So, yeah.
But ever since Makaton came along, it's been a lot more. He's willing to do that. The communication now, we have a barrier which we can have a limited response, and he can tell us or show us what he wants more, and yeah, it's just made our lives a lot easier just having that. And because without that, there is no communication with him. and PEX cards as well. That's another thing that we do.
It all helps, doesn't it?
It does all help, and that's all been through the support of this place.